Hello all you wonderful, beautiful, and craptastic people, CraptasticJack here. And today I basically want to go over the wants and don't wants that I personally have for Need for Speed 2015. Cause why not? Ghost wants our feedback and I'm going to give them our feedback, well my feedback in this video. And yes, without further interruptions or intrusions, let us begin. Now, I'm going to start with the don't wants and go into the wants because there aren't as many don't wants as there are wants. But yes, number one that I don't want is a Cops and Crooks gameplay element. We've had this time and time before. For an underground game that's not really needed nor wanted. It's the element we don't want at all. Cops and Crooks is mainly for the Hot Pursuit series thing. Not really much for the what's it called. They tried to put it in Rivals, and in Rivals it worked okay-ish. It wasn't really good, like really, but overall I didn't really like in Rivals. But for an underground game, which is hopefully what we're getting, it's not really needed. And if it isn't another underground, then I don't want that as well. I don't want Cops and Crooks as well. Now this one I think everyone can agree with. I don't want weapons in a Need for Speed game. No EMP, no shock thing, no freaking jammer, no freaking what the hell, like shit that comes out of your car when you're a racer. It's the shock stuff. No, I don't want that. Now the only weapon that I would accept is obviously for the cops, roadblocks and helicopters, but for racers I guess turbo boost. I mean, yeah, makes your car go faster. It's not really a weapon, but weapons, no, it's not Call of Duty High Speed Warfare. That's the nickname I like to give to Need for Speed Rivals, but it's not that. Weapons should not be in a Need for Speed game. They worked fine in Hot Pursuit, don't get me wrong, I loved using those in Hot Pursuit, but in Rivals it was just so damn stupid to have weapons in a Need for Speed in Rivals. I mean, because they're so unbalanced and stuff. And the other racers use it on you without any reason. In Hot Pursuit, the racers, if being chased, you had no weapons. But here you can use weapons whenever you feel like it, and that's kind of stupid if I were to say so myself. You can't really have a clean race in Rivals without weapons. I mean, yeah. Now, another gripe I had with Rivals, and I hope that they don't repeat in the next Need for Speed, is all drive preventing you from pausing the game. Even when you're playing Rivals single player or with nobody in your lobby thing, you can't pause the game. Say I'm in the middle of a race and I want to go pick up the phone or something like that. I can't because you can't pause the game. And to be fair, in The Crew, it's an always online MMORPG. The Crew, if you're playing a single player event and you're by yourself, you can pause the game. Why can't you in Rivals? I hope this is something they don't go on and do in what's it called, Need for Speed 2015. And then another thing, this stems from All Drive as well, is All Drive in its current form. If you want to put All Drive in Need for Speed 2015, just fix it. I mean, I know for Rivals, Ghost only had 4 months of development time. Here they're having over a year, so yes, this gives them enough time to actually fix All Drive, because right now All Drive on Rivals in its current form isn't that good. Basically it's just people running around ramming you and stuff. That's really it. Now cops, I can understand if they're ramming racers, but it's just racers going around. Yeah. The one time I played Rivals online with someone, they just chased me across the map trying to kill me, and they were a racer as well as me. But yeah, All Drive in its current form maybe want to stay away from the multiplayer aspect of Rivals, just keep to myself. And that's kind of what it's not meant to do, if you know what I mean. So if they fix All Drive and make it better, then that's great. And I would look forward to actually seeing it in the next Need for Speed. Now, this one is more for EA, not really Ghost, because Ghost really didn't have a choice. They can't choose how long their game takes to make them a game. I don't want a rushed game. Now, Rivals was a rushed game, don't get me wrong, but it's not really the developer's fault. They only had 4 months of development time. For a AAA game, that is so short of a time. And they were overworked. And it's sad to see that, but now that they have over a year, I hope that this next game won't be rushed and stuff. I mean, there will be bugs, don't get me wrong, but those will always be ironed out. And if there are bugs, be sure to patch those. Like I said, there are bugs in every video game on Earth. But yes, hopefully no, like, game-breaking bugs like in Rivals or stuff. Rivals didn't really have many, but they're still unpatched. In the other Need for Speed games, there are bugs, but the majority of them have been patched, to be fair. But with a rehashed map, no, sorry, that's the next part. I don't want a rush game. I don't want a game that's just like, we piece this together in 5 minutes, and yeah. Well, that's EA. It's not Ghost's fault for that. Next thing I don't want is a rehashed map. Again, this stems from them having only 4 months of development time. They had a rehashed map. Now, Rivals, I didn't realize the map was rehashed till my one friend Greg told me, and like showed me it. What Rivals map is, it's just Seacrest County from Hot Pursuit tilted a bit, and then like differentiated in scenery. Like all the roads are technically the same and stuff, just in a different layout. And it's kind of rehashed, and it kind of feels the same as Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2010's map every once in a while. So I hope they do come now that they have over a year to create a new map with yeah. I'm gonna go on this a bit more, but later. But just not a rehashed map. Create a newer map, like from scratch, a new map if they can. They should be able to. They have over a year. But I've never developed a game before, so I don't really know. But cars locked to only one faction. Now this only applies if there is a cops versus crooks element. In Rivals, one of my main gripes with the game was how all of my favorite cars were only available as cop cars. None of them were available as race cars. And that really really saddened me, because I wanted to drive a Murcielago as a racer, but I couldn't because it's only on the cop side. Same with the Agera. Until the free DLC for the Agera came out, I couldn't. And same goes for a lot of other cars like the LFA. But hopefully, if they're not making this a cops versus crooks game, I hope that we won't have to worry about this. Bad progression. Now, what do I mean by bad progression? I mean something like starting off in a mid-range high-end sports car and ending up in a supercar. That's not really good progression. I'm gonna go on progression more in the wants, but really I don't want just to be like a supercar racer the whole way through. I want to start off small and then make my way big, like in the Crew. And last thing I don't want is an all-rural map. For me, illegal street racing kind of stems from a city-ish area. No, don't get me wrong, I love racing in the countryside where all the roads are straight and stuff, and you got hills and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong, I love that. That's a great way you can test out your car's speed and stuff, or have high-speed chases like that. But in a city, especially if they're doing an underground, I do hope that they have at least like a city in it. Now, don't get me wrong, I do like the rural areas again, but if it's an all-rural map like Rivals or Hot Pursuit, it kind of doesn't really fit with the illegal street racing scene. Like Rivals, they had this dark thing where it's like, oh, illegal street racing, but it's like in this countryside, and it didn't really make much sense. So I hope they don't have an all-rural map and try to at least put some city into it, because yeah, have the illegal underground street racing scene, because I think that's what we all want at this point. But yes. And now on to the wants. Now I have a lot more wants than not wants, and getting through the don't wants took me nearly 10 minutes, so wonder how long this is going to take me. Now what I want is a new fresh map. I already went this a bit more, but a new fresh map that's original, probably made from scratch. If they have enough time, if they can focus on that area, then yeah, go ahead. A new map with like a city in the middle and like surrounding countryside, suburbs, places, highways, stuff like that. A new fresh map, that would be awesome. A map with the inner city, suburbs, mountains, etc. Now, this kind of stems from the new fresh map. A wide variety of cars. Now, tuners, muscles, exotics, imports, etc. have all different types of wide variety of cars. Something for everyone. Because what Rivals was missing was basically tuner cars. Like, Yeah, imports, stuff like that. It had like, I don't even think it had it had a couple muscle cars, but not any older ones. All it had was just exotics. Like back in the days of Underground, Underground was only tuners. But if we can blend that in to have muscles, tuners, imports, exotics, JDM, we can have something for everyone. It could kind of be like the Gran Turismo, sort of say, of street racing, but that kind of goes to Test Drive Unlimited 1, if you get what I'm saying. But just a plethora of cars that you can have, something for everyone. And if you can, cockpit view. That just makes it 10 times more better. A plethora of customization options for your cars, to make them all unique. Like, you can have just like go wild with the customization options, Ghost. I mean, at this point we're looking for new bumpers, hoods, spoilers, anything to make our car stand out, anything to make it look awesome than just stock, anything to make it ours. Like new freaking mirrors, new windshield tint, like vinyls, stuff like that, rims, like stuff like that. Just go wild, especially when if you're doing an underground style racing game. Just go wild, listen to the community with all their stuff, because me just naming a bunch of customization options is not enough. There are many people who enjoy other things. Just go around, ask people what they want. But at this point, I think they're later in development of the game, but still, they can still add it if they can, hopefully. And just go around, ask them. Lots of people want customization, me included. I may have said in the past that I don't want it, but I want it really bad. And like deep customization. Think back to Underground 2, Midnight Club 3, deep customization. We all want that in a Need for Speed game, especially if it's an underground racing game. And I speak for a lot of people when I say we really want customization. We're begging, we're down on our knees begging for deep customization. That is what we're looking for, and hopefully Ghost will be able to deliver. Now, vinyl editor. Now, where Forza Horizon and Forza Motorsport shine is with their vinyl editor. People can make their own vinyls and put them on the marketplace for other people to use, and they can share them with their friends and stuff like that. And I feel this could easily transfer to an underground style racing game, especially in a Need for Speed game, where everyone makes their cars not the same, different. Everyone has their own style, taste, stuff like that, and you can easily get some extra in-game currency when selling on the market. If they have a market with the vinyl editor, if they add a vinyl editor, I feel a vinyl editor with a customization game would be perfect, to be fair. Because look at Forza Horizon. It's one of the best aspects of that game. I have only played Forza Horizon, but yeah, I can tell you, the vinyl editor is one of the best aspects of those games. And if you put it in a Need for Speed game, that is just going to make it 10 times better, especially in the customization field, where everyone wants customization. Everyone wants their car to look pretty. Everyone wants their car to look awesome. Everyone wants their car to basically look like them, their lifestyle, their style of choice. And I can feel you could draw in a lot of people with a vinyl editor and customization. If they want this game to be sold really well, I'd recommend putting in a vinyl editor and really well deep customization. Now, I kind of went over this back in the don'ts, but good progression. I don't want to be a supercar racer the whole way through. I want to start off as maybe a former race car legend who has to start from the bottom, work his way to the top, or even better, a nobody racing alley cats, and then who becomes later a professional street racer down the line. That seems awesome because it gives us this feeling of accomplishment as we're playing the game. We don't feel like we started off as a millionaire racing supercars and then ended up as an even more millionaire racing supercars. You see, with Hot Pursuit and stuff like that. But overall, I just want to have a good sense of accomplishment when playing this game. I want to feel like I actually did something, and I kind of changed the street racing scene in this game. And for some reason, since I wasn't moving my mouse, my entire computer kind of went black. But yes, having good progression makes me feel like I have achieved something. Like in The Crew, I feel like I achieved catching the guy we had to go after and getting our revenge, and progressing as a character along the way. Although I didn't really like the story wasn't that good. But yes, that's kind of what I'm trying to put in here. And guess what? And a wide variety of race types. Now, don't just have circuit, sprint, like time trial, that's it. Actually put in a wide variety of races. Underground 2 had probably the most selection when it comes to races. You had freaking circuit, street X, drift, drag, you had, oh my god, you had a bunch. You had the Underground Racing League, URL races where you were actually on the track. Now, good progression, wide variety of race types. Like, you can have drag, drift, sprint, circuit, time trial, knockout, lap knockout, ambush, etc. Anything to increase the play value of the game and to increase increase the fun. Like, have a wide variety of races. And if you can't create enough, and if you don't want to create too many, you can easily create a race editor and let us create our races. Because then the people can create their own races and then let the community share it. In Grand Theft Auto Online, it's worked. Yeah, it just works. Really, like, a race editor, that would actually add a lot more play value and a lot more play time to someone actually playing the game who is not really a hardcore fan like me or any of the other racing game YouTubers. Anyone who's like a common person who enjoyed the old Need for Speed games or enjoys the common racing game will enjoy and have a lot more value in this Need for Speed when they have a race editor, a vinyl editor, stuff for them to do, more stuff for them to do after the main campaign or after they beat all the races in the game. That's kind of where Little Big Planet shines. I've never played Little Big Planet. From what I hear, it's awesome, especially when you beat the main campaign in that game, and there's so many more levels, user-created levels that you can use, you can do to make, like, extend the play value. Like, there's always something new in that game. And so if they want this game to last long, they should add a race editor, a vinyl editor, stuff like that, and constant updates. Keep the game updated, support the release. As the game, after the main campaign, people can create their own races, own events, own challenges, and Autolog can also come in and do stuff with recommended races and stuff like that, what your friends have been racing on, and have leaderboards for each race. That way, it increases the competition as well as the competitiveness and the longevity of the game. That's how I got hooked on Need for Speed Most Wanted 2012 back when I was 13. I spent 5 months just playing that game. But yes, it increases the longevity of the game with a race editor and stuff like that. Another thing I want is law enforcement intervention. Just simple, have cops. Not many people want cops, but because it's an underground game, Underground never had cops, but I feel there should be cops in a racing game like this, because it's an underground racing scene. Obviously, in underground racing scenes, there will be police law enforcement intervention. Now, I don't want the cops to try and kill you like in Rivals, but try to arrest you like in The Crew, somewhat. But I don't want them to just ram me off the road in 5 seconds. And I don't want McLaren police cars in an underground style-ish racing game. Alright? I don't want that. Like, have like different heat levels, different cops for different heat levels, like in, say, Need for Speed Most Wanted 2005 or the Carbon, or yeah, have heat level stuff for that. Like, if you're like, or it could go by car class. Like, if you're a slower end car, you can have Crown Vics, medium car, maybe have Dodge Chargers, and at the high end have like Corvettes, stuff like that, or stuff like that. Vipers, cop cars. But yeah, yes, in America we do have Corvette cop cars, but it's not too far of a stretch with Corvette cop cars. But yes, and also with the cops, getting busted should actually penalize you. In the Rivals, it kind of got this, well, you had that risk versus reward system. They can transfer that over to the next Need for Speed game, the next Need for Speed 2015. Also, but when you do get busted, you shouldn't just go free scot-willy like in Need for Speed Most Wanted 2012, where you get busted, it's like, and then you reset your car somewhere else randomly across the map. We don't want that in a Need for Speed game. We should have a reason to try and escape the cops. We should have a reason to actually try and escape, to do everything we can to get away from the fuzz. Not in Most Wanted where it's like, oh, you got busted, oh well, reset. And I kind of have that edge in Rivals. Even though Rivals is still broken and stuff, it did do well with the risk versus reward system where I did get busted. I kind of got vexed that I lost all my money, especially when it was a large portion of money. And that's kind of how it works with this risk versus reward. There should actually be a penalization for being busted. Now another thing I really kind of want is grinding a bit for cars. Like, I don't want to be able to do a couple events, drift around a bit, and be able to get a new Lamborghini like in Rivals. I mean, that's kind of easy. If you increase the longevity of the game, if you want to do that, you can easily require the player to grind a little bit for those cars, like in The Crew. Grind a bit for the cars, because I don't want to feel like I just went racing one day and ended up with started out with a Civic, ended up with a Lamborghini after one day of racing. That's kind of not how it should. No, it shouldn't work like that. But we should be able to grind for our cars, not just buy them. Now here's something I really haven't seen anyone else talk about, but a used car dealer with cars owned by previous players. That'd be a pretty cool option, especially for someone who doesn't have enough money to buy an actual like supercar at full price, but they still want to be able to race against people with supercars. Like, they can buy the Lamborghini, the used Lamborghini, race it a couple times, and save up to be able to upgrade it or sell it back on the market. What I like to do in Test Drive Unlimited is just buy cars, upgrade them, sell them. Buy cars, upgrade them, sell them. You would get profit that way. And what's really cool is these and yeah, but the used cars wouldn't be as good as the pre-owned cars because they have wear and stuff, like they're worn out a little bit and stuff like that. But overall, if you do want to get a used car, you should have that option and to be able to upgrade it for a little bit more than just buying the car new. But overall, that would be a pretty cool option to have, to be able to buy used pre-owned cars. Like Grid 1 had this feature actually, where I think it was Grid 1. Yeah, Grid 1. Where you could either buy a car off eBay or buy a brand new spanking car. That is actually a pretty cool idea in my book. And then last but not least, out of the way story that doesn't interfere with the player's game experience. Now, Rival story as it was, it kind of stayed out of the way and you kind of forgot about it. It wasn't really intruding on your playstyle, to be fair. And The Crew really has this problem, to be fair. I don't really feel like a badass street racer in The Crew. I feel like a gimp with the FBI. And same with Test Drive Unlimited too. I don't feel like a badass street racer. I feel like I'm a gimp working for this stupid TV show that's illegal street racing, but it's not really illegal street racing because it's on TV. But again, it really is legal street racing because you're racing with traffic and stuff like that. But there's no police intervention. It's all weird and stuff. Like, have a story. Like, Underground 1 and 2 got this really right. I felt like a badass street racer in those games. Need for Speed usually feels like I'm a badass street racer. I can easily feel like that in a Need for Speed game because usually those stories are kind of out of the way. And if you are, it's because you're a street racer. You're not an FBI agent. You're not an undercover person. You're not some TV person. No, you are an illegal street racer. You are trying to be the fastest person in the city. You race. You get cool cars. Blah blah blah. All the girls want you. Or if you're a woman, then all the guys want you. That's kind of what I want to be. I don't want to be some person on TV. I don't want to be some, oh my god, I'm an FBI agent because some guy killed my brother. And I'm like, I don't want that. I want to be able to feel like I'm a badass street racer. That's it. Because in a game about street racing, I kind of want to be a street racer. And that's really about it when it comes with the wants, to be fair. Do you have guys any suggestions? Did you agree, disagree with any of my opinions? Be sure to list them in the comments below, and I hopefully will be able to respond to them. Anyway guys, that's all for now. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you're not already, don't forget to rate, comment, favorite, subscribe, and Ghost Games, if you are watching this, please take some of my advice to heart, like, because I have been a Need for Speed fan since I was 3 years old, for over 10 years. First game I ever played was Need for Speed 2, and I don't want to see such a wonderful series die, because this is really Need for Speed's last chance to make a comeback, because Rivals didn't sell that pretty. It's like 3 million now, and for a Need for Speed game which has once sold 15 million, 10 million, 8 million, it's not a lot. So hopefully they can make a comeback with Need for Speed 2015, and I hope they do, because me and a lot of Need for Speed racing YouTubers want this game to be successful. We want this game to be perfect. We want this game to be the best Need for Speed ever. And right now, my favorite Need for Speed is Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2. I am hoping that this game can outshine that game. And if it can, then you guys did good. And that's all for now. I'll see you guys in my next video. Have a good one.